Sam Bankman-Fried was branded the savior of crypto. T-shirt, messy hair, talking about ethics, standing on top of a $32 billion fortune. But here's the part nobody wanted to see. FTX didn't collapse because crypto failed. It collapsed because an obvious truth went unquestioned. In just 7 days, trust evaporated, money disappeared, and an entire empire dissolved without warning. Stay with me, because this isn't a story about money. Early November 2022, crypto is already on edge. Prices are bleeding, trust is thin. Everyone's pretending this is just another dip. And right in the middle of that chaos sits FTX, the world's second largest crypto exchange. Billions flowing in, celebrities promoting it, politicians taking meetings. Sam Bankman-Fried isn't just rich, he's respected, the responsible adult in a reckless industry. Behind the scenes though, FTX isn't just an exchange, it's tangled with a secret twin, Alameda Research, a trading firm run by the same inner circle. 2 companies, 1 brain, 1 balance sheet. What could possibly go wrong? Turns out, math eventually notices. On paper, FTX looked untouchable. A sleek interface, lightning-fast withdrawals, a constant reassurance that customer funds were always there, untouched, unleveraged, secure. Sam Bankman-Fried leaned hard into that image. While the rest of crypto flexed Lambos and moon emojis, he talked about risk controls and responsibility. He showed up in Washington, not Discord servers, testified before Congress, spoke the language regulators wanted to hear. To lawmakers, he wasn't the problem, he was the adult in the room. FTX, we were told, was different. Not a casino, a real exchange built for the long term. And Alameda Research? Yes, same founder, but supposedly a separate trading firm. Different risks, different books, different worlds. At least that's what the org chart said. When whispers started spreading, the response stayed calm. Markets were unstable. Users were anxious. Withdrawals were higher than normal. Nothing unusual, just panic, just bad timing, just crypto being crypto. But one detail refused to line up. If customer money was truly safe, if nothing dangerous was happening behind the scenes, why did everything seize up the moment people asked for their cash? What broke FTX wasn't a crash, it wasn't a hack, it wasn't even bad luck. It was something hiding in plain sight, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. The real problem wasn't volatility, it wasn't fear, it was what FTX was actually built on. Behind the curtain, Alameda Research wasn't just trading crypto, it was borrowing, aggressively and constantly, and the collateral propping up those loans weren't dollars, Bitcoin, or anything solid. It was FTT, a token created by FTX itself, issued out of thin air, priced on an exchange that FTX controlled. A financial feedback loop disguised as value. On paper, Alameda looked wealthy, balance sheets were full, risk models said everything was fine. In reality, it was like taking out real-world loans using monopoly money, as long as no one checked the box. Then came November 2nd. A report quietly exposed the foundation. A massive portion of Alameda's assets were FTT. Not diversified, not easily sellable, just FTX-backed promises stacked on top of each other, holding up billions in debt. Quick humor beat. Imagine opening a bank vault and finding coupons for the bank itself. Once that information leaked, the illusion didn't wobble, it cracked. And one company saw the risk immediately. Binance. When Binance announced plans to sell over $500 million worth of FTT, the market didn't hesitate, it stampeded. FTT's price collapsed, collateral evaporated, and every loan Alameda depended on went underwater at the same time. That's when users began asking the most dangerous question in finance. Wait, where is our money? This is the moment it stopped being a balance sheet problem and became a survival problem. Because once the withdrawal started, FTX had hours, not days. What followed wasn't chaos, it was a sequence, brutal, predictable, and fast. It began with excess. Customer deposits were quietly rerouted to cover Alameda's losses. No disclosures, no formal approvals, just an internal belief that the money could be returned before anyone noticed. Then the signals surfaced. FTT started to slide. Liquidity thinned across the platform. Executives felt something was wrong, but momentum kept everyone moving forward. After that came pretend calm. Public statements insisted everything was fine. Tweets projected confidence. Behind closed doors, FTX was racing to secure emergency funding from anyone who would pick up the phone. Sam Bankman-Fried went from industry savior to crisis manager almost overnight. Then, reality arrived, all at once. More than $8 billion in withdrawal requests flooded the exchange in days. But the funds weren't waiting in a vault. They'd been lent out, pledged as collateral, or erased through leverage. Turns out, trust us isn't a liquidity strategy. When withdrawals froze, confusion turned into panic. Panic turned into fury. And the exchange, built on credibility, lost the only asset it couldn't replace. The hard truth is this: FTX didn't fail randomly. It collapsed step by step, and every step was a choice. The turning point came quietly, and then all at once. Within days, FTX was begging for a bailout. The same company that claimed it was fully liquid was now shopping itself to competitors like a distressed startup. Binance stepped in, a non-binding deal, a possible rescue. For a few hours, the market exhaled. Then, Binance opened the books, and almost immediately, they walked away. No press tour, no second chances, just a single line that said everything. The issues are beyond our control or ability to help. That was the moment the lights went out. On November 11th, 2022, FTX filed for bankruptcy. Sam Bankman-Fried, worth $32 billion days earlier, was effectively broke. An empire didn't just fall, it collapsed in public.
The bankruptcy was just the headline. The real damage didn't show up until after the cameras left. When FTX collapsed, the scale was impossible to ignore. Millions of accounts were frozen overnight. More than 8 million users were suddenly locked out of their own money. But the deepest damage wasn't just financial, it was psychological. For retail investors, this wasn't a bad trade or a risky bet gone wrong. It was savings, rent money, emergency funds meant for real life, not speculation. People who believed they were using the safest exchange woke up to silence, error messages, and no clear answers. Institutions felt the shock too. Funds halted withdrawals, crypto startups ran out of runway and shut their doors within days. Trust in the entire industry, already fragile, fractured on a global scale. Then came the ripple effects. Regulators stepped in aggressively. Banks pulled back from anything crypto adjacent. Every company in the space was suddenly guilty by association. FTX didn't just destroy itself, it scorched the ground around it. The quiet lesson is uncomfortable. This wasn't about crypto at all. It was about trust, disguised as technology. At the end of it all, this wasn't a story about bad timing or unlucky markets. It was a story about confidence without limits. FTX didn't collapse because things were complicated. It collapsed because something basic was ignored. Money that can be withdrawn at any moment should never be treated like it won't be. That's the detail most people skip. No grand conspiracy required, just unchecked belief, a sealed-off inner circle, and time to let the risk grow. So the next time a founder sounds calm, polished, and reassuring, the next time an institution promises safety while asking for trust, remember how fast certainty turned into silence. Because the next financial shockwave won't announce itself. It'll arrive looking stable. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe for more cool stuff they don't teach you at school.